Welcome back. All right, it's Tab here. Whew. I had something completely, totally different planned for this week. And I might actually still drop what I had planned. You guys might just get some like bonuses this week. I'm not sure. But as I was sitting here today, and I've been up since 5:30. It's currently 11:30. I have done my BNI meeting. I was the feature presenter for BNI this morning, as well as president. I crossed off a ton of items that were just like miscellaneous, like email this person, follow up on this, do this. And I have this feeling that I'm feeling restless. And so what I thought since the podcast is in recording has always been one of my healing methods. Maybe that's what I should try doing right now. So here we are. What are we going to talk about? I don't know. Let's find out together. The past couple weeks have been really, really filled with healing. Whenever you focus on healing, I don't believe there's a way to heal without also experiencing pain and without also feeling pain. And typically, I think there's often a grieving period that goes along with that. So, ever since August, things with my family have been very tense, to say the least, ever since I said I was moving. And I understand. I do. They were worried. There's a lot of factors in the background that I'm going to just let stay back there, right? And I know that there was a lot of overreaction, and there were certain people I was able to forgive and certain people I've really been struggling to forgive. But then a couple weeks before Christmas, I posted something about non-monogamous relationships. And in doing so, I received such pushback from family and loved ones on a level that hurt beyond words, because they weren't coming at me. Well, first of all, let me start by saying, as I was putting this out on Facebook for the very first time that AC and I are in a non-monogamous relationship, I would like to also say that was never a secret. It wasn't something I posted on Facebook, but anybody who followed the podcast knew that I had already put it out there. It was already out on TikTok, and all of my family and friends knew that we were not in this monogamous relationship the way they would like me to be. And it was really difficult because as the people who were responding with the most aggressiveness were people who already knew this. It wasn't people that this was brand new to, like that were shocked by this. Like it was people like who long since knew. And some of the comments, I actually had to, I am not quick to delete comments on my Facebook page. Like if somebody comments and it's against me or it's ugly, it has to be really, really bad before I delete it. And there were two family members I actually started texting on the side, and I was like, could you please stop? Like why are you doing this? Because they're attacking my parenting and they're coming after this and all kinds of things that hurt to a point that I can't even tell you how deep that hurt went. And then it got to a point 24 hours later, I really didn't feel like I had any choice but to block them. I blocked them from my Facebook. I blocked them from my Instagram. I blocked them from my actual cell phone. And to tell you how much that hurt me, I can't even tell you how much it hurt, because it doesn't feel like something that anyone should have to do. But after I did it, I actually felt a wave of somewhat of relief. Because I think in the back of my head somewhere, I always knew what they thought of me, but I was trying to believe it was not, that I was wrong, that it was something different. And then a couple weeks ago, this is about 5 or 6 weeks after they had been blocked, one of them commented something so ugly and so nasty on my Spotify that I was in disbelief. And again, you expect trolls, and people will say, well, you're putting this all out for the general public. And you're right, I am putting it out for the general public. And I know that, good God, Taylor Swift gets trolled 5 billion times more than I do, right? But I don't believe that she would put up with it from her family either. And I think that's the part that hurts. Like, if it's strangers that are trolling you, it's easy to be like, well, they don't fucking know me. But when it's somebody that you grew up with, when it's somebody who has served as a second mom to you, who you pretty much lived at their house growing up, it makes you, it's really, really hard. I mean, it's hurtful beyond hurt. And as I had a talk with my mom this weekend, because I had to go back up to Buffalo, and just crossing the state line brings out an anger in me. It boils so deep in my blood that I can't, my anger becomes to a point where I can't control it. It's out. It's so far above my capacity that it just boils, right? And I had to go up to Buffalo and came back home, got settled, cried a good bit. And then the next day I was talking with my mom, and I said to her, I don't know how to stop this. I don't know how to get past this. I don't know how to move on. And I don't know why everybody is so, I don't understand why everybody is so up in arms about my life. And she said, well, we just feel like you're taking the hard way. Okay, but it's the way I want. It's my path. I'm not on drugs. I'm not pregnant with some man I don't know his last name's baby. I'm not shoplifting. My children are not naked or hungry. They feel safe enough to crawl into my bed in the middle of the night. They are loved. I am far from perfect. And Lord knows I don't have my shit together. But I'm not a bad person. And she said, well, it was when you started posting the stuff about sex. I get that. I do. I get that. But I don't. I don't. Because the stuff I'm posting about sex isn't like I'm not starring in porn. And even if I was, I'm 40 years old. It's my decision to make. And you might not agree with it, but if I say that's what I want to do, then why is that wrong? But that's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is helping individuals and couples with their communication, their trust, and their boundaries. I'm helping them uncover what it is that's holding them back. I'm talking about things that, to be honest, we need to be talking about. I won't apologize for it. And again, I come back to say, how does that affect any of them? I just don't understand. Part of healing is seeing the unhealed. Part of healing is no longer needing to prove you're right. No longer needing to prove your point, right? Like, that is part of healing. Part of healing is being okay with being misunderstood. But fuck, does that ever get easier? Because some days that's hard. I'm still learning boundaries. I will be learning boundaries until the day that I die. I am still making mistakes, and I will make mistakes until the day that I die. AC and I still struggle beyond struggle with communication. But you know what? Fuck. It's a lot better than it used to be when we first got together. Man. I'm sitting here right now and I'm thinking about what every minority, everybody in the LGBTQ community who faces laws that oppose them being seen as human, right? Laws that oppose them being able to marry whoever they want. And I remember, and I don't mean to be ignorant, but because I didn't know what I was going to talk about, I didn't look up any facts before I got started on this, okay? And so, and because I am from New York, gay marriage has been legal for quite some time. I don't know, and I should know this, and I'm going to look it up when I am done. I don't know if it's a federal law or if it's state laws at this point since Obama that allows gay marriage. But I remember during the really big gay marriage talks, all of these really far-right Christians would come out and would say, well, you know what? Marriage is between a man and a woman. And I'm offended that we would let this happen. And I remember sitting there thinking, who the fuck cares? Who cares? How does who my neighbor is married to affect me in any way, shape, or form? I could care less. I mean, personally, I'm like, if the human wants to marry a monkey, go ahead and let them. I don't understand why it matters to anybody. Okay. Now that's me being slightly dramatic. So like, you know, don't everybody write in and tell me all the reasons that's not okay, because I'm making a point with drama here. Okay. But that's what I'm getting at. It doesn't affect anyone. The way I've been living my life and the way I've chosen to live my life does not affect anyone. The fact that I do not want to work a 9 to 5 does not affect anyone. I'm okay with the struggle I work through. And I 100% believe it's going to pay off. I 100%, when I close my eyes, I can feel sitting on the jet, going from country to country, standing on stages of hundreds of thousands of people, and sparking inspiration and motivation and fire in their souls, giving them permission to be who the fuck they are. Whew. I can feel traveling the world with my kids and AC. And I can see him fully and completely heading up the creative team, where the production of everything that I'm doing now by myself on my own with really a $40 camera from Walgreens and zero experience on the editing field will be done by people who actually know what the fuck they're doing, upping the quality by 10,000%, right? I see my name at the #1 New York Times bestseller. I feel all of it. Like I can actually feel it inside me. And it doesn't matter to me if they believe me or not. But what I need to do is I need to learn how to exist in that world without allowing the anger to take control of me. But then I also sit back and say, do I? Do I need to do that? Or is that just what I feel like I should do? The reality is at some point, and this is what hangs over me and this is what sits heavy on me, at some point there will be a death in the family. And I don't want the next time I speak to my brother and sister-in-law to be at one of my parents' wakes or at the wake of an aunt, an uncle, a different loved one. I don't want that to be the first time we have to respond, because the truth is, I love my brother and his family very, very, very much. The hurt, the things that he said to me, the actions that he took, you can see the bone. They're deep. Band-Aids won't do it. I love my niece beyond words. Not having a relationship with her right now kills me. And this is the reality of creating boundaries in your life. This is the reality of healing, because when you heal, you don't get to choose if those around you heal. You don't get to choose who keeps walking on the path with you. When I got divorced, when I was getting divorced, I had a client, and she said to me that when she got divorced, her father had said to her, every time I see a divorced couple or hear someone got divorced, I wonder who outgrew who. That sentence, that statement, that it got me through some of the worst self trash talk I've ever had. That statement pulled me through a lot. I held on to those words more than she probably would ever know. Her name was Christine, and she probably has no idea how impactful those words were to me. They were so impactful. But they're not just for divorce. They're for families. They're for friendships. They're for coworkers. When you choose the path of self-growth, when you choose the path of healing, you are choosing the path that isn't as pretty. It's not crystal clear. Like it is the path less traveled. And it's less traveled for a reason, because it's hard. But when you get to the end of that path, holy shit, is it beautiful. On the other path, the scene never changes. The terrain never changes. What you see is what you get, is what you see is what you get. So today I want to say to anybody who's out there who's struggling with healing, who's struggling with forgiveness, who's struggling with the fact that they put boundaries up and they lost people, I want to tell you it's okay. It's okay. Let them go. You don't need to close the door forever. You don't need to lock it. Hopefully one day it can change. You'll know if and when you're ready. At this moment, the anger I have inside me tells me I'm not ready. I'm not ready to attempt to see what I can do. I'm not ready to accept the things that were said to me. I'm not ready to let it go. And if and when I decide to, the reason I let it go will be for me, for myself. That's it. Just for me. Nobody else. Everybody goes through trauma. Everybody has hard times. That's a given. I don't know anybody who hasn't been through something traumatic. I know people who pretend they haven't, but everybody has been hurt before. But not everybody gets to feel joy. Not everybody gets to feel happy. Not everybody gets to experience love on a level that is so deep, most people cannot comprehend. I choose to tell my stories because I don't want people to feel alone. Because I have plenty of stories that if you didn't know me, when you look at me, you would be shocked. I don't want anyone to feel alone. That's why I'm choosing to it's why I chose to add the fourth pillar in, because we are losing people to suicide. Because people are accepting themselves in all aspects, but not who they are sexually, and that is not okay. It is 2024. It is not okay. Because I want to be a safe space. Life is hard. And some of us choose the harder path, but here's what we have to remember. You deem it the harder path. I deem it the right path. I deem it the path that aligns with my soul. I deem it the path that sets me on fire. I deem it the path that gives me a purpose. I'll take that every day. As all of the coaching starts to, and all of the content and everything starts to fully align, I hope that you feel the peace that is coming together with it. I hope that you feel the journey that this entire project has been on, that I have been on. I am so excited for whatever is coming because this year everything is in such full alignment. I'm going to tell you one quick story and I'm going to let you go. So, if you've never read the book, The Universe Has Your Back by Gabby Bernstein, one of my spirit animals, I absolutely love her. Get the book, read the book, listen to the book on Audible. It's fucking amazing. She talks about picking out a universe symbol. Okay. Now, my grandmother talked about this all the time. My grandmother's symbol was a rose. It was always a rose. And I've known that since the time I was little. And I cannot see a rose and not think of her. Okay. And Gabby Bernstein talks about picking out a symbol. And when you pick out this symbol, when you see it, the presence of this symbol is telling you you are on the right track. You are on the right path. And the absence of this symbol is telling you that you might be veering a little, or that if you're on the fence and that symbol doesn't appear to you, then this might not be the yes that you've been hoping for. And it took me about 2 or 3 weeks to come up with what my symbol was. And it was funny because I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, is it a lot? Is it an elephant? Is it a rose? Is it like my grandmother's? Is it? And I kept like asking all these things. And one day it came to me that it was a lion. And the overwhelming feeling of like, this is it. Like, this is the symbol. It was astounding to me. And on Saturday morning, I went down to the Strip with a new friend and we had brunch. And then she wanted to go in a little shop and we were kind of walking down these little shops. I had never been in any of them before. And the one we walked, they all had the most gorgeous stuff, but they were so expensive. And like the one store that we were in, I was like, gosh, I would give everything I had. I just want to be able to like come in here and like pick this up and buy it without thinking, right? That's the kind of disposable income I want. And don't you know, from that store to every other store that we walked into, which was like 4 or 5 of them, there was a lion in every single one. There was a statue. There was a lion sewn onto like a little kid's hat. There was a candy bar called Lion in the one store. It was everywhere. And all I could think was, that's the universe telling me that's what's coming if I stay the course. So I want you today to take a moment. I want you to take a vision. I want you to sit down and actually think, what do you want in life? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want your legacy to be? More than that, how do you want to live? What kind of relationships do you want? I want you to sit. I want you to take it in. I want you to actually feel it, breathe it, hold it, sit. For me, when I'm in my visualization, I take my cup of coffee and I open up the sliding glass door and I walk out onto my back patio that's facing the mountains. And I sit on that back patio and I sip my coffee that's hot in the crisp air while the kids are outside running off the deck, laughing. The dog is chasing them. AC is just getting home from a trip. He was out photographing, filming, away on location again. And he walks up behind me and he puts his hands on my shoulders and he gives me a kiss on the cheek. And he calls the kids up to give them hugs. He even pets the dog that he says would never sleep in our bed, but she does. She does sleep in our bed. And I look at the calendar and I say, we have 2 more days until we hit the road again. Are we all ready? I can feel it. I can feel his hands on my shoulders. I can feel his lips kissing my cheek. I can feel the squeals and the joy of the kids and the dog running in the yard. I can feel every single piece of it. That's my future. What's your future? Are you taking the time to actually believe it? Your vibrations and your beliefs matter. So breathe it in completely. On that note, go live your best life.